This is the Orioles POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Baltimore Orioles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy birthday, America, and happy Friday night to all of you tuning in right now on the Baltimore Orioles POSTCAST. Good evening. As always, it's Luke Slabaugh breaking down tonight's 3-2 win for the O's over the Atlanta Braves down in Cobb County, Georgia. Be sure to like, subscribe, thumbs up the show wherever you're listening. We always appreciate the support. This streams live on YouTube, and it's available on demand wherever you listen and watch your podcasts for free. Game 87 of the season for the O's, they improved to 11 games under 500, 7.5 back in the wild card with the Seattle Mariners in that final spot, and the O's improved to 11-9 in one-run games. Many storylines to follow in this series in Atlanta. For one, Charlie Morton is in his 18th MLB season, and he returns to one of the spots where he won a World Series ring in 2021, the Atlanta Braves. They treated him really well. He had a couple 200 strikeout seasons with them. Also, the rotation that the O's have lined up for this weekend series includes the most consistent and brilliant pitchers that they've had in June and moving forward: Morton, Dean Kramer, and Trevor Rogers. But what we should be talking about up front is the return of two important pieces to the lineup. Jordan Westburg, who makes his return back for the first time in a week from a finger injury, and Tyler O'Neill, who is supposed to be one of the mainstays in this lineup. Very important to get this team healthy, intimidating, and ready to rock.
This is what you'll be talking about.
It was exactly 1 week ago that Jordan Westburg re-aggravated the left index finger sprain that he suffered sliding against the New York Yankees. It was the 22-8 game where he once again out of the batter's box hit a double and slid in head first. Interim manager Tony Mansolino says that he's had some talks with Westburg about going feet first from here on out because Westburg will not be 100%. Who is 100%, however, and in his own words, 110%, is outfielder Tyler O'Neill. The big offseason acquisition signed for 3 years, our main right fielder, big pop, big power numbers with Boston and prior to that in St. Louis, but not a very durable player. Lifts a lot, looks the part, but can suffer nagging injuries. And he had been out with a left shoulder impingement for quite some time. Good news is the opponent, the Atlanta Braves, know all about injuries. They've had injuries and nagging hurts and wounds to 4/5 of their rotation. And so it's important to have these core nucleus players play together. Did you know that the core that general manager Mike Elias assembled, Gunnar, Adley Rutschman, Jordan Westburg, Colton Cowser, and Jackson Holliday, have only been in the lineup together 6 times this season? 6 times. And we're through game 87. So it was important to get that juice back in the lineup. Jordan Westburg is the catalyst. He is known as such. And he delivered tonight in a big way, 3 for 4. And we saw Tyler O'Neill also get the ball rolling. We might as well just jump right in to the turning point, which involves O'Neill.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
I'm going to take you top 5. The O's already have a 1-0 lead, and we'll get to that in a second. 1 out. And Tyler O'Neill, his first 2 plate appearances, goes hacking at the first pitch. Now, he grounded out his first time around, but in the 5th, he gets a first pitch he really likes, squares it up, and hits it through the left side hole. Enter Cedric Mullins, who, if you listened to the podcast earlier this morning with Connor and a member of the Baltimore Banner, is probably the O's prime trade chip, at least on the position player side. And he gets a hanging slider from right-hander Spencer Strider that he really likes. And he rockets it 390, almost that chop house section at Truist Park, and makes it a 3-0 ball game. O's had another chance to tack on runs later in the inning. Jackson Holliday strikes out, but with 2 outs, Jordan Westburg hits a single through the left side. Gunnar Henderson squares up a slider and then hits it to center field. Got runners on the corners with 2 outs. Unfortunately, the all-star starting DH Ryan O'Hearn strikes out on a slider in the dirt. It was good news for the O's that they were able to track that slider as the game progressed. They almost committed the cardinal sin of letting Spencer Strider settle in, and it looked like this was what was going to happen. First, I will take you back to Jordan Westburg's home run. Huge to get things started in the top of the third. Cedric Mullins started off the inning trying to lay down a bunt single, a great athletic play by Strider, able to barehand it and throw him out. Holiday grounds out. So with 2 outs, Jordan Westburg gets a fastball on the outer third of the plate that he really likes from the fireballer Strider. He goes oppo, his 8th home run of the season, 1-0 and 102 off the bat. Strider had retired the past 5 batters that he had seen on 12 pitches. It looked like he was en route to really carving up these O's hitters. But he didn't, and he leaves with the L. And Charlie Morton leaves with the win. Coming up, we're going to talk about the Suns' return home, the well-decorated, uh, true veteran Charlie Morton, his ascent rather, how good a stretch he's had, how pivotal he was tonight. We're going to award tonight's player of the game. If you haven't already, go ahead, leave a comment who your player of the game is. If you're watching live or on demand, I will make that revelation after the fact. And that'll be it. We're going to get out of here right quick here on the 4th of July. I want to say thank you for joining us. We got a big block coming up, but we'll be out of here in 15, 16 minutes or such. Hope you've had a great day. Hope you're being safe. Went to a cookout, maybe spent time by the pool or on a boat if you're into that thing. I'm seeing fireworks right now on the skyline, which are kind of distracting me, but I'm really glad that you're here. Thank you for tuning in, as always, to the Baltimore Orioles postcast. Got a bit of a dilemma. My spin instructor wants to get one of those crab hot dogs at Camden Yards, and it's a whole thing. I got to investigate tickets, but there is a way to get things better than ever. And it's with Gametime. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food. You can take risks. You can invite people, maybe spend money on merch if you've got that. Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. And they've got incredible last minute deals, clear seat view features, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. I mentioned that seat views feature. It's right in the app. Before you buy, you can see exactly where you're going to be. This is usually helpful on the road. If you're up at Fenway and you don't want a column standing right in front of where you're watching, it's important. Not a bad seat at Camden Yards by any stretch of the imagination, but Gametime has made things so much easier. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB. That's all one word, LOCKEDONMLB, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We'll talk about Charlie Morton, but first go ahead and leave some comments in for player of the game. And if you think it's Charlie Morton, I'm totally with you. I get it. Good day to be Charlie Morton. 18th season in the bigs, and he returns to the team to face them, who drafted him in the 3rd round of 2002. He was actually traded in 2009 to the Pirates for future Oriole Nate McLouth. And after a couple of stops, including Houston, where he won that World Series ring, he returns in 2021. He's their game 1 starter in the World Series. Actually took a line drive off the leg, which would later be revealed to be a broken fibula, kept pitching before he had to take himself out of the game. Actually struck out Jose Altuve as they were facing his former club, the Astros, and earned his 2nd World Series ring. So for him to return home has got to be pretty special, at least to the organization that drafted him and where he has a lot of great memories, multiple 200 strikeout seasons. And through 5 1/3, Morton was as advertised. His ascent continues in an Orioles uniform, from being persona non grata to being relegated to the bullpen by then manager Brandon Hyde to working his way back. This has been a lesson in perseverance. 7 strikeouts, a season high 19 whiffs, that's swings and misses. Fastball touching 97 for the first time this season, and the curveball sometimes had a little bit too much life to it. You saw him hit a couple of batters, but a season high 12 swings and misses on that curveball. Uncle Charlie, who averages the best revolutions per minute on his curveball, was touching more than 3,400 RPMs. He was dealing. The only issue he had, bottom 6, Jerks Profar, who he had struck out a couple of times already in the game, was able to loft a bloop single to right. And then with 1 out, Drake Baldwin took him yard. Kind of up for debate whether that pitch should have been delivered in the first place. The pitch prior, Morton was denied a called third strike on the inside portion of the plate. It was a really good fastball. And the home plate umpire, Austin Jones, who was in his second season working games at the big league level, he just missed it. So Drake Baldwin finds a fastball he really likes. This one was also set up inside by Gary Sanchez, but Morton misses out over the plate. It's at 94. And Baldwin almost hits it to the chop house section as well in right field there at Truist Park. Made it a 3-2 ball game. That was the first home run that Morton had given up since Memorial Day. Think about that. And, we got to talk about Morton's line since Memorial Day. Since he rejoined the rotation, he's pitching to a 2.97 ERA. Everything has been going as advertised from what we were promised with Charlie Morton. And that's just really special. He pitched to a 2.88 ERA in June, and the ERA continues to drop. Remember, it was in the 9s there at the start of May, 9.76 at the start of May, and now it's dropped, almost 4.5 points. That's a big progress to be made from a 41-year-old right-hander. So kudos to Charlie Morton. Got out of a couple of jams there in the second and the third, but otherwise was wheeling and dealing. And he eventually leaves in the bottom of the 6th. After that home run, he gets up 0-2 on Ozzie Albies. Hits Albies. And with 1 out, you got a runner there on first. Andrew Kittredge, the right-hander, is called in. Throws a first pitch sinker to Michael Harris at 95, and it's a 6-3 double play. 2 outs on 1 pitch. And that was, just what the doctor ordered and more, right? The bullpen absolutely locks it down, goes 3 2/3, does not allow a base runner between Kittredge, right-hander Brian Baker, and right-hander Felix Bautista. The bullpen cooked. But as we reveal our player of the game, I think it's pretty obvious that the lineup just looks different with...
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Jordan Westburg, 3 for 4, a run scored. I would argue that he probably could have scored a second run there in the top of the first. They had Spencer Strider on the ropes there in the top of the first. Westburg hit an infield single to Austin Riley at third base, so the legs are certainly working. There's no hamstring issues with Jordan Westburg. And then Gunnar Henderson, down 2 strikes to Strider. He gets a fastball outside, times it perfectly, hits it to left field off that wedge sidewall there. And with Westburg's speed, Buck Britton, the third base coach, probably should have sent Westburg there. It's also the top of the first, and there's 1 out. So you're hoping that either Ryan O'Hearn or Ramon Laureano can bring home somebody, just put the ball in play. O'Hearn can't do that. He strikes out. And Ramon Laureano with runners on second and third again, because Westburg parks it at third. Ramon Laureano goes from 0-2 to 3-2, all sliders against Strider, and then gets a fastball on that 3-2 pitch, rockets a ball right between the wickets of Strider, and he's able to field it in between his leg, Quadzilla, as he's called, and he's able to toss out Laureano there at first, a 29-pitch first inning. In an otherwise really, effective start for Strider. The O's eventually figured him out, and they got a couple of long balls off of him, and that is worth celebrating. 107 off the bat from Ramon Laureano. We carry on, and the O's look to win tomorrow, take the series. It's Dean Kramer and TBA for Atlanta right now. Manager Brian Snitker and co have dealt with a lot of injuries to the rotation, so they're still figuring that out. Could be a bullpen day. I'm remiss if I didn't mention a couple of good defensive plays as well. Both starting innings, bottom five, Ronald Acuna Jr. Hit a ball in the right side hole. Again, Morton on the mound. Jackson Holiday makes a nice pick and jump throw across his body to get Acuna by a quarter step. The Braves challenged, and the call stood on the field. And also Nick Allen, their glove first shortstop, hit a slow roller in the bottom of the seventh, and shortstop Gunnar Henderson makes a nice barehanded pick, charging it, and rifles the ball to first to throw him out. This was a well played game all around. You got to enjoy this, especially on America's birthday. Final score on the 4th of July, the Baltimore Orioles 3 and the Atlanta Braves 2. Good night, stay safe, and I will see you right back here tomorrow night.